Greetings to my young folks, welcome to my channel, and in today's video I'll be explaining everything that you need to know regarding this law. And what is the law? It's called the Hooke's law, and it's illustrated by Robert Hooke around the year 1976, I presume. What I remember saying, it's around the year 1676, yeah. And what does this law state? It states that extension is directly proportional to the force applied. And what does this mean? This means that in this picture you can have a more broader and clear understanding than any other explanation. So in the first spring you can see there is no plate, and that's why the spring is compressed. It's small compared to the rest of the two springs. Why? Because in the second spring there is a single plate that's acting as the main weight, or you can say force. So this plate is expanding this spring, making it stretch further. And in the third spring it is more stretched. Why? Because there are two plates. These two plates are expanding that string and stretching it. So what was the original position of the spring? This was the original position of the spring. This is the compressed form. So this spring was the original position, and after adding one plate, this was the compressed, what am I saying, this was the stretched position, and after adding two plates, this was the extension. Like, there's a formula in your exam. They might ask you what is the formula for extension. So for the formula you can write, let me write it over here one bit. Well, so I've just written the formula, and this is the formula. Extension equals to final length minus initial length. Over here, what is the final length? The final length is the third spring, and what is the initial length? The initial length is the first spring, right? So you have to just subtract it. And just another thing you must remember, that is, since extension is directly proportional to the force applied, the amount of force will determine if it obeys elastic behavior or not. And what is elastic behavior? So you cannot really stretch a spring forever, right? At some point it will either deform or it will break. Like, it won't ever go back to its original position. In this graph, if you were to remove the plate, it will return to its original position. But in some cases, once you remove the plates, it might not return to the original position, and it might just deform. It might just go out of place or turn into a new shape, to be honest. Then that means it does not obey elastic behavior. And in some questions during your exams, they might ask simple questions. First, what is Hooke's law? If they ask that question, then just give this explanation: extension is directly proportional to the force applied, and you will get 2 marks. Now the second question they might ask in your exam hall is this: what is elastic behavior? Elastic behavior is an object that returns to its original shape after being stretched or squished. So if the spring or any object does not return to its original position after it's been expanded or stretched or squashed, then just know it does not obey elastic behavior. And lastly, what they might ask you in the exam is for you to draw a graph of Hooke's law. And what is that graph? Let me show you. So firstly, draw two lines like this. One line should be vertical and one line should be horizontal. Let me draw it right now, 1 second. Now, so they might ask you to do two things in the graph. First, they might just keep this graph completely blank and tell you to draw this graph and label them. So the labeling should be done like this. In the left vertical side, there should be extension, and in the bottom horizontal side there should be force, and then you will just have to draw a line. So what is that line? That line should go straight from the origin like this. Yeah, like this. So the line should be straight from the origin. Make sure to use a ruler while drawing this. And so this is done. This is your graph for the Hooke's law. And secondly, what they might ask you to do is they might draw the graph for you, but they will tell you to define the graphs for 2 marks. And what do I mean by defined? So as you can see from the graph, the line is straight and it's coming from the origin. So in order to gain 2 marks, you will have to write number 1, relationship is linear, and linear means straight. The line is straight over here. And for the second mark, you will have to write as force increases, extension increases. So extension is directly proportional to the force applied, as the law suggests. So if you write these two lines, you will gain 2 marks. If they ask you to define the graph, if they just tell you to draw the graph, then you will just have to draw it yourself, like how I did over here. Write extension in the left hand side and write force in the bottom, and then draw a line that's straight and from the origin. And I guess that's all for today. There's nothing else regarding Hooke's law. I hope this video was helpful to you, and in the future I'll be creating more videos like this regarding computer science, physics, mathematics, and ICT. And of course all of them will be IGCSE background based. And for now, take care and peace out.